Hello everybody, Presented here in NecroDancer, and I'm doing a sort of special video for you. And what I'm doing is, I'm doing a sort of, I guess, collaboration, you could call it, with another YouTuber named Iniquity Rhymes, and I'll put a link to his video, or his channel in my description. And for those of you watching either on my channel or on the NecroDancer subreddit, which I'm probably going to post this video to, Iniquity Rhymes, he makes a lot of music and music videos, and his the music basically what he wanted to do is he wanted someone to play NecroDancer with some of his music in the game. And thanks to, you know, NecroDancer's MP3 importing, that is possible. And so what he wanted was people to play, or someone to play the game to two of his songs, and the songs that he had chosen were his two most popular videos on his channel, each one with about 1.25 million views, which is absolutely insane. And so I figured, you know, I run a very small channel, so I can sort of do this video for him just as, you know, a new sort of project. And it'd be kind of fun to change up the game with, you know, new music that I always just play with the vanilla music, and so, you know, it's nice to play with other music that is interesting. And the cool thing about it is, even though the music itself doesn't really pertain to, or it might not seem like it fits with NecroDancer, I don't know why, but it sort of goes well whenever I play with the music on, and I don't know, it's just really cool, and you'll see what I mean whenever we get to the music. And for those of you watching on Iniquity's channel, what NecroDancer is, it's a rhythm roguelike game that you basically move to the beat of the music, and you have to attack enemies between their attack patterns, because each enemy has a specific pattern and you have to attack them between the patterns, otherwise you get hit, and that is how you die in the game. And so the main goal of the game is to get as much gold as possible, and gold is gained whenever you kill enemies. They drop gold, and there's a whole gold multiplier mechanic that is, I'm probably not going to be able to explain how the entire game works in one video alone. So if you're interested at all in the game while I'm playing it, you can check out either the subreddit, the forums, or the wiki page. I'll link all of those in my description if you're interested at all in learning a little bit more about the game if you don't know about it already. It's probably one of my favorite games that's been released in the past few years, and so that is, you know, that's a pretty big statement considering the kind of titles that have been released within the past, you know, 5-6 years. And this one is probably one of my favorites. This game is really good. It's in early access right now on Steam for $15, I think. And it's very, very much worth it. I know some people are kind of turned off by the idea of early access just because a lot of the times, or in some of the times, the developer either doesn't talk to the community, doesn't convey like changes at all, or sometimes they promise features that they don't live up to. And I know that's the sort of issue that a lot of people just say, I'm not gonna invest in any early access title, and I understand that sort of thought process. But with NecroDancer, I don't know, I think it's a little bit different. The developer, he's always around on the subreddits, and he's always around on the forums. So if you have any questions or any like requests on changes or any comments on bugs or aspects of the game that you don't quite understand, there's a dedicated community that can answer that question for you, or you might even get the creator himself to talk about the game for you and with you. And it's just, I don't know, he seems really invested in the game, and a lot of heart and soul has been put into this game, and I don't see it dying anytime soon in the development cycle. And so with all that said, I'm going to just start the run, and I'm going to do basically what I do on all my other videos, in which I basically try to convey what I'm doing and try to at least be a little bit informative. And so for right now, what I'm going to try to do is see if there's a blood shop, because if there's a blood shop, there's always a golden weapon for sale in it. And if I get a golden weapon, that means I can get more gold from enemies, and since the main goal of the game is to get as much gold as possible, that seems like something that I want to do. But I might forsake gold weapons if it means survivability, because I also would really like to make it to Zone 3 to showcase the music in question. Because the last zone of the game is where I put the music. I put it in level 2 and 3 of Zone 3. And so I'm gonna try to, I might forsake golden weapons if it means I can get an item that protects me even more from enemies. And since I'm doing a hardcore mode, and since my high score has already been inputted, I'm probably not going to be able to make more than like 77,000 gold. So I actually think I'm going to go ahead and go on survivability instead of gold. Even though in most cases what you'd want to do is get the golden weapon, and I died because I wasn't paying attention to the freaking attack pattern. You know what? I'm not even gonna like restart the recording just cause that wasn't even early enough. I wasn't paying attention. That was completely my fault. One thing that's actually a good like way to mention something of the game, but when you die or get hit in the game, it's entirely your fault because you didn't like parse the enemy movements correctly and you got hit as a result. There are very, very few fringe cases in which maybe the game is at fault for you getting hit rather than you. But for the most part, you always make the mistake, and so you always are at fault for your actions. And that was a fault on my part because I wasn't paying attention to the black skeleton, and he insta-kills you because you, on hardcore mode, you start with a lot less health than you normally would on a not hardcore run. So again, what I'm going to try to do is focus on survivability. Didn't really get survivability on the last run because I died instantly, but that's okay. And you might notice that this game has a steep learning curve. I've had about 130 hours in the game, and I'm still learning how to play. I'm not horrible, I guess, but I'm most assuredly not one of the best. So I'm going to try. There we go. Okay, he lined up to where I could hit him, so that's good. Let's see what's here. I'm going to buy that torch because visibility is pretty good. I could open this as well. I'm going to do that. Fireball's a pretty good spell, so I don't feel like it wasn't justified purchasing that chest. I'm going to use my bomb. Actually, I can use the gigantism to open that. I'll take the broadsword because that's a gold weapon, and it's a little better than the spear in my honest opinion. If I'm not going to kill the shopkeeper, then having more gold wouldn't hurt to buy more stuff. And I'm probably not going to try to explain many aspects of the game, just because if I do, I mean, what I'm trying to say is it's going to be next to impossible to talk about everything that's currently in the game for you to do. There's so many different ways for you to play the game that talking about all of them is going to take a lot longer than the video has. So I'm just going to try my best to survive until Zone 3. And I'm going to try to at least provide a little bit of commentary. The bad thing about NecroDancer, and it's not even a fault on NecroDancer's part, but a bad thing is this game is really focus driven. So I find myself kind of halting my speech. I falter a bit. Sometimes I even lose my train of thought because I'm focusing on something. So if my commentary gets a little stagnated, or if I sort of seem like I'm talking about something but then I like trail off, I'm gonna apologize in advance for that. But it's really hard to comment while playing this game, but I try to pull it off. I think I'm not too bad at it. If you look at my first video where I comment, which is, I think it's like episode 27 or 28, my chainmail is better than leather, so I'm gonna keep it. But the first video I made, I can't even go through that. I don't know what I'm doing. The first video where I commentated, I was really bad, and I feel I've gotten a lot better since then. So, no progress. One video at a time. And whenever I get to the later zones, or the later levels of Zone 3, I'm probably not going to talk. Just so you can listen to the music. Since the music is basically the showcase, I feel that talking during while the... I'm probably gonna... Ooh, okay, barely. Talking during the levels where there's the music would be something that I don't want to do. Because I want the music to be heard. The music is a little bit soft because I have NecroDancer down so you can hear my voice. So not talking will help you listen a lot better. And it's also, the music is here to get people's interest back in Iniquity's older videos, since the songs in question that he wanted people to cover in NecroDancer are some of his older ones. And what better music pieces to showcase than his most popular, right? Because it's the music that people can most, like they remember it the most. Okay, that skeleton just sort of killed himself on the spike trap. I'm gonna open here just because this is a food shop and I can get more hearts. I'll take both of these. So now we have food and we have... Oh, I didn't move. I tapped the key. I didn't press it down all the way. And let's get that. Let's make it to the end before the song ends. Oh yeah, I also don't really know if I'm going to be able to sort of run all the songs down. Oops, I meant to do bomb. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to leave the floors, or leave the later Zone 3, level 2 and 3 floors early before the songs even end. Because the songs last longer than it takes to go through the level. But I'll try my best to stick around as long as I can. Coupon's worthless since... Oh, no, just kidding. Coupon is not worthless because the shopkeeper is still alive. The coupon makes it to where you get a free item from the shop, and I thought I typically kill the shopkeeper, so the coupon's never really useful for me. But yeah, I'm probably gonna last or go as long as I can in the later zones, later levels, but I can't promise that I'm gonna stick around for the entire song, but I'll try to stick around for a majority. We actually got that rapier for free, so I can feel a little bit justified if I want to go back for that titanium shovel. And then, as you saw, the first boss was one of the harder ones, just because death metal is really fast and it's easy to get off beat if you're not paying attention. But the bosses in the game are really, really cool. I can actually blow this up. Oh my god, we got a lot. I want freeze and... What's this other one I have? Fireball? Yeah. Like, one boss is a chess boss, and he, like, he moves. All the pieces move on how chess typically moves. So there's like a knight that moves in an L shape every like 4 beats or so, and then there's like a bishop that moves diagonally every like 4 beats as well, and there's the rook moves once every 2 beats, and then if you're in the path of the enemies, then they hit you. And if the pawns get to the end of like the level, then they turn into queens, which is really cool. And it's really cool because like the detail that they put in the game is really nice. Like they put in the chess boss. Oops, I messed that one up. I'm just gonna move on. Like the chess boss, he can castle if it's a legal move at the time that he wants to castle. So that's really cool. And another little detail is there's ice and there's like hot coals in the game. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. But there's ice and there's hot coals in the game. And if excuse me, if like a fireball is used over ice, it evaporates into water. And if freeze is used over hot coals, it turns into water, and if fireball is used over ice, it turns into water, which is cool. And then if fireball is used over water, it evaporates and it becomes like just a normal ground tile. But then if freeze is used over water, it turns into ice. Which is, I don't know, it's a really cool little just attention to detail that they put in the game. We got a lot of good stuff out of this. I might as well pick up the ham since it heals the most. I want to go to the shop actually, see what's in there. And then as you can see, the enemy difficulty ramps up drastically and dramatically spliced together. But the difficulty ramps drastically as the zones go on. So the game itself is really difficult, but it's not punishing at all. Under no circumstances is it punishing, because every mistake, or nearly pretty much every single mistake you make, is your fault. Okay, oh, there's a mimic here. Let's move on. And I think I'm gonna make it to zone 3 without much difficulty. I'm gonna get the torch that has less vision, just because zone 3, as you'll see, like each zone will, let me backtrack, each zone has a certain like layout that its levels follow. And so zone 1 is like sort of just like a cave system. And then zone 2 is a ring. Like a lot of zone 2 levels are ring shaped. And then zone 3 is just like an open layout. And so if you have a torch, the torch aggroes enemies that get in its like vision radius. Oops, I thought I was a beat behind there. Oops, there we go. And the bad thing about zone 3 is, since it's so open, torches aggro a lot of enemies at once. So I wanted the torch that doesn't provide as much vision to aggro the least amount of enemies, so that I have like the most optimal chance of surviving, basically. I got hit a lot there just because I was trying to focus on what I was saying rather than what I was playing. So I think that was a good reason. Okay, okay. Yeah, there are sludge monsters, and I didn't see him until it was too late. Like he grabs you, and if he grabs you, he basically pulls you into the swamp water. And once he's in the swamp water, he has his way with you, and you get hurt every beat that he stays alive. So here's the chest boss I was talking about. So that There's a queen that moves every beat. And if you're diagonally to a pawn, whenever it moves, then it can hit you. Because typically, enemies only hit you, or enemies can only hit you if they just move into you. But you can actually move in front of a pawn, but it won't hit you because of how pawns typically attack. And since pawns can only attack diagonally, pawns in this game can only attack diagonally, which is another, you know, attention to detail that is really cool. Oop, I could have hit him there. Let's get him here. There you go. Got an apple, which is awesome. And then, as you can see with like all my gear, there's a bunch of different kinds of items you can get in the game that augment how you play, and it's really cool. Just the game itself is simple, and all the different items that they have can drastically change just the core game itself and how you play and how you go about killing enemies, how you go about like picking up or choosing what items to use. It's just really cool. And I would encourage anyone who is remotely interested to buy the game, because you will not be disappointed. And so since we're on Zone 3 now, once I get to the next levels, I'm going to stop talking so that you can listen to the music. Oh, I actually... The rapier moved me forward there, and so I got hit by the slime. And that shrine just adds another mechanic to the game, where there's a lot of shrines that have... They basically have a positive and a negative aspect, where you can activate them for a positive, but then they apply a specific negative to your character. So the Shrine of Rhythm, which is that shrine right there with the drum, it lets you go up to a ×4 gold multiplier, where I can only get up to a ×3. But the Shrine of Rhythm lets you go up to ×4. So it's really good for I don't want to transmit my feet. I don't want that. Where it lets you get a lot more gold, but every 8th beat you have to halt. Like every 8th beat will not be there, so you can't move, otherwise you lose your multiplier. And if you lose your multiplier or you get hit, you instantly die. So it's a high risk, high reward system that the game goes about all the time. And so, with that all being said, I'm going to move on to the next level, and I'm going to stop talking so you can listen to the new music.
Ladies and gentlemen, Modern Warfare 3 is upon us, and I believe as gamers it is only right to pay our respects. This is goodbye, but not for forever. This is an ode to zombies. I remember the days feel so vivid back in 08, I'm not kidding. I gamed just as much as I do now, and I did plenty killing, but the game that had me hooked was zombies in COD World at War. It was something new and addicting, man, I swear my thumbs were sore. Protect the windows or the door, and if not what unleashed was gore. Nazi horse plagued the floors, it's my favorite memory, was it yours? All the more reason to top my score, the songs for pleading, I want more, please don't leave me with spec ops, cause I swear it won't restore that need for killing all the horde of enemies thrown at us with my MP40. I aim at their heads and I watch them combust. What's the rush? We stayed up for hours to reach that next wave, even left my Xbox on so I wouldn't have to restart the next day. Zombies, this is zombies. Goodbye zombies, but not for good. Zombies, goodbye zombies. You can't stay, we wish you would. When we're spending all our time playing Modern Warfare 3, we'll be wishing we could get a special map pack with Nazi zombies. I will defend you with all these rhymes, and I swear that it would be a great happening if you didn't leave. I think we'd all agree. I think you all agree that zombies meant a lot to me. I commend all of these support. Do you remember all the sprees? Remember all the crawlers as we dropped the zombies to their knees while trying to comprehend the story and Easter egg debris? Do you remember Ascend from Darkness on Kino and Reese, where I listened to the Syndicate Project 4 and tell on these as a matter?
That was a Temple Down trap, by the way.
And for that I thank you, sir. I've watched you since this last November. Make way for all the guns, we packed a punch. I love this game, it was date rape, because in the end the zombies were victorious, and they claimed their rightful place in the Call of Duty world. Regardless of our purge, Chuck can help us, and this hurts like a PhD flopper bird. Zombies, this is zombies. Goodbye zombies, but not for good. Zombies, goodbye zombies. You can't stay, we wish you would. When we're spending all our time playing Modern Warfare 3, we'll be wishing we could get a special map pack with Nazi zombies. I will defend you with all these rhymes, and I swear that it would be a great happening if you didn't leave. I think we'd all agree. Zombies, this is where we parted, though you told an epic if I just seemed so hard. I remember all that you and Billy rescued Tank, Dr. Red, Misaki, and Nick alive from jail, equipped with wonder weapons. Ray and Thunder Gun prevailed. I remember standing at the mystery box from the fire sale, hoping for the best, wishing that you won't stop and become available once again to the players. Take the teleporter, man, else I'll need a carpenter power up, cause my heart's been impaled. This won't be the last time that we turn the power on. I promise when you return, you'll be embraced with ours. Play will pay homage. Thank you, World at War and Black Ops, for bringing us something new.
I basically did this whole floor, so I'm gonna move on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time has finally come. 1 year ago we said our goodbyes, but promised they would never be forgotten. Well, the beloved have returned. We welcome them with open arms. This is an ode.
So vivid now. A year ago we said goodbye, we let you go, don't ask us how. So here we go, it feels like all along this waited after never forgotten, made its way through the airwaves and left from the edge. I remember trying out Spec Ops mode in Modern Warfare 3. I said, you gotta be kidding, I dug you while you're trolling me. The multiplayer drones so happy, but in Tino I will roam. Now everyone say you will be loud, zombies welcome home. Yeah, the zombies are back to pick up the slack, let's do some work. I hope we can pick off where we left off, just like the tubes don't hurt. Now let the rape trains lift off from the grave, assemble all the bones. We'll meet up at the transit bus depot around the globe. We promise this time we make it worth it. The Tolkien's world will split. Fly like a denizens upon our heads, we'll go the distance around. If we fail, I promise we will load. Because we love all that you bring, so zombies welcome home. It's the zombies have come. Your return to our controllers only means we'll have fun. Our favorite part of Black Ops 2 is that we get to roll with you. We'll play through every map you've reviewed. So much happiness and new content, we were ready to explode. You had us waiting long, it's time we embrace and face the fact the community is growing. We've come together as one entity to set up your abode. The zombies have returned with open arms, we welcome home. I think you all agree the zombies meant a lot to me. I'll defend against all of the remorse with Deadshot Daiquiri. In other words, my aim is steady. Set up right upon the dooms and gains of multiplayer. Get the set of gobble knuckles on upon our foes, unleash the hellhounds. Watch the crawlers beg you, music to our ears like the hidden teddy bear Easter eggs. Let the monkey bumps fly, hero won't cry, so we won't tremble. Once we're strapped with an arsenal of guns and assemble back upon. We will strategize to reach max rounds and dominate zombies like when the syndicate project made history in 115 of epic rounds. Will test us now, we'll stamming up and double tap. There's no match, we have max and all, and even novel gotta lack the strength required to defeat us. As players come in flocks, and now the history's repeated. We'll wait at the mystery box with our turbine, the power's on. And surely clear the throne. Zombies, you a king with open arms, we welcome home. It's the zombies have come. Your return to our controllers only means we'll have fun. Our favorite part of Black Ops 2 is that we get to roll with you. We'll play through every map you've imbued. So much happiness and new content, we were ready to explode. You had us waiting long, it's time we embrace and face the fact the community is growing. We've come together as
With that, I'm gonna move on to the next floor. So yeah, as you can see, I was a little bit off in the beats. The game itself has its own like MP3 import feature that allows you to put in music that you want, but it can be a little bit finicky in its like beat finder And so, like, if you saw whenever I did the bomb in the shop, and then I used my war drum so that I could halt without losing my multiplier, the war drum sound with the subsequent bomb explosion sound was a little bit off. They were supposed to go at the same time, but there was a little bit of discrepancy. So for the most part, it was pretty good. But you know, it has its own sort of text file that allows you to put in custom beats, and so if you want, you could tweak it to where it fits it a little bit better. But yeah, for the most part, I think it works pretty fine, and the music was actually, I don't know why, I just find that it fits oddly, even though the music itself is about, you know, like the Call of Duty franchise, and this is, you know, NecroDancer, and the composer of this game, Danny Baranowski, he basically does a lot of electronic music for the game, and it was kind of odd for me to think on rap music being in the game as the music for you to move to, but I don't know why, it just sort of fit, and I don't know, I liked it. And so if you liked it too, then I will link the music in the video description so you can hear the full versions. I know I wasn't able to run through all of the music just because each piece was about 4 minutes long, and it takes you just about, you know, 2 to 2.5 minutes to clear each zone completely, and so I wasn't able to go through the entire piece of music without, you know, just messing around and moving and doing nothing. And so I felt, for the sake of, you know, making the video as short as possible in those aspects, I moved on even if the song was still going. But if you want to hear the full music, I will link them in the description. And there's just 2 pieces. It was 2 of his most viewed videos, and so if you want to add another view to the million that he already has, go ahead and do that. And check out his other music too. He makes some really cool stuff if you guys are interested in that sort of genre of music. I'll link to his channel in my description, and if you're on Iniquity's channel, hopefully he'll link to my channel too, so you can check out what I do. I do a lot of NecroDancer stuff, and so if you're interested in the game at all, you can see what I have to offer, and if you like it, you can subscribe to me and help this channel grow a little bit more. And if any one of you liked the video, be sure to like it no matter who uploaded it, and I guess no matter who uploaded it as well, subscribe to their channel, because Iniquity's doing cool things, and I feel like I'm doing cool things, and so support us as much as you can if you're interested in what we have to offer. And with all that being said, I'm sorry this was a pretty long video, but I had fun. I hope you had fun. I hope for those of you who didn't know what the game is, your interest is piqued, hopefully. And so check out the game if you're interested. I'll put all the links to everything in my video description, and I'll see you guys later.